The Pentagon's autonomous weapons deadline expired July 6th, and the very next morning, the UN Secretary General called for a global ban on exactly those weapons. Pretty tidy. This is Anthropic Pentagon Watch. Today, the killer robots clock ran out, and there's still a question nobody in that contract has answered on the record. What does lawful actually mean? Jerry Owens over at TechTimes has the details.
12 years of talks, and Guterres' deadline just expired, without negotiations even starting. All week I've been saying no constraint got written into the framework, and now the clock's run out. That's the answer.
And the headline Anthropic never wanted written about itself. Pentagon punished the only company that said no. Once you're the principled holdout, you're also the martyr, and martyrs lose contracts.
We've now got a second source treating the shutdown as retaliation for public dissent, not some contract dispute. Fire floated that theory. TechTimes just gave it another leg. Say no to autonomous weapons. Get designated a supply chain risk. That's the documented outcome now.
And it changes how that all lawful purposes clause lands. If the systems are contested enough that the deadline came and went with zero negotiation, then everything turns on lawful, and the Pentagon still hasn't defined it on the record.
Right. No legal standard for the weapons ever got formalized. So what standard did they use to brand a dissenting contractor a security threat? Because it wasn't that one.
Webb Wright, writing in Gizmodo.
The point is that when the Secretary General of the United Nations calls upon the international community to ban killer robots, that phrase is going to strike a resounding chord in the public imagination, especially when that public is already becoming wary of the current course of AI development for much more immediately tangible reasons, like increasingly steep electricity bills and the unconstrained spread of online deepfakes.
So the frame just went global. Gizmodo has the UN Secretary General calling for a worldwide ban on autonomous killer robots. Dated July 7th, one day after that Pentagon deadline, the one we hit earlier, expired with Anthropic's designation still standing.
The timing is almost insulting. The U.S. clock runs out with zero constraint written into anything. Not the White House framework, not the DRPM UXS memo, and the next morning, the world's top diplomat says these weapons shouldn't exist. Washington had its shot and let it lapse.
Which puts a lot of pressure on one word in that Pentagon contract language, all lawful purposes. If the Secretary General thinks the whole category should be banned, lawful suddenly gets very contested. And we still don't have a definition on the record.
And here's the argument I can't stand. Right there in the Gizmodo piece. The moral obligation to build autonomous weapons lest our adversaries get there first. That's the whole national security shrug, with no trade-off attached. Build the thing that might escape human control, because otherwise someone worse builds it. Cool.
If you're tracking AI power and government stakes here, try Musk v. Altman daily. Daily court watch on Elon Musk's trial against Sam Altman, OpenAI, and Microsoft, covering testimony, exhibits, and the AGI governance fight. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. We've put links to every story from today's briefing in the show notes. If one caught your ear, you can follow it there and read more. That's Anthropic Pentagon Watch for today. This is a Lantern podcast.